This is the Nations Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. This is absolutely hilarious. For anyone out there, today, if you didn't know, was Jimmy Carter's funeral, and Donald Trump decided to give a giant middle finger to Maga. But of course, we all know that Trump could hold up a middle finger to these people, and they'll fall at his feet and cry just for the notion that he acknowledged their existence, because they idol worship this fool, and he could do whatever he wants out in the open, including talking about fulfilling the Club of Rome's goal of creating 10 kingdoms, which is what he's openly admitting to trying to do now with Canada and Greenland, not even in office yet, and talking about New World Order globalist goals. But if you didn't see this clip, this might be the funniest clip that I have ever seen in my life. And I don't often say that, but I couldn't stop laughing at the commentary of this. So what we have is Jimmy Carter's funeral, and people will make excuses like they always do for Trump. Trump is sitting directly next to Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, and of course, I'm surprised by Big Mike's absence here. Barack sits right next to Donald Trump, and they are having a ball. They look like they've been involved in some secretive acts together. I mean, they look to know each other pretty well. Now, if you go back to the campaign trail and all the things about birth certificates and how Donald Trump's going to end democracy, pretty amazing that these two could sit side by side when the majority of people who are conservative and Republican and Democrat don't even want to be within 500 feet of one another, let alone smile and have a conversation with one another, because people like this are responsible for creating the division. And they're showing you here what actors they are. And you'll listen when I play this clip to the commentary from the news anchors. They say things like, it's amazing that these two who fought so fiercely, who hate one another, probably more than anyone in American history, how they're able to bond over Jimmy Carter. They're bonding over the re-election of Donald Trump because things are settled now. They don't have to be down each other's throats, even though every single thing Donald Trump does, Barack Obama is going to oppose. But you know what? They're able to get along with people they disagree with. That's the quote that they leave you with. And they say they're wondering what they're talking about. Keep an eye on the other people who are going to pop on your screen, okay? Because it's a who's who of what they like to call the deep state, even though apparently the deep state's only Democrats, it's not Republicans. But then if you disagree with Donald Trump, you're thrown in the deep state like Mike Pence is. But Mike Pence is there. Remember, Mike Pence said, well, MAGA hates Mike Pence. He's right behind him, right? They're not friends anymore. Of course, the Clintons are a couple seats down, but they put them on opposite ends. They make sure on camera they don't have them shake hands and hug. They don't want to go too far into getting MAGA angry, because if he was to kiss Hillary Clinton on the cheek, well, these people might lose their minds. But don't forget, he was supposed to arrest her, drain the swamp. You got the Clintons in the same row, but he's got to keep the peace, right? Donald, there's a bigger plan. Don't you guys know? It's 6D chess. Donald Trump has to show up here, keep the peace, and, be in the same aisle as them and talk to them and mingle with them, just like he does with Klaus Schwab and all the other globalists. And, if you actually use critical thinking and look at these people for what they are, which are professional liars, well, you're just, what's your problem? Donald Trump's, he's chosen by God, right? He's chosen by God. Well, him and Barack, seem to be having one heck of a conversation. Listen to the commentary. You are going to get a kick out of this.
Sitting next to President Trump, suffice it to say, something you just don't see.
It is not a common occurrence. That
so
is
much
for
history.
Sure. Barack Obama campaigning for the Vice President Kamala Harris. Obviously, she did not prevail. And now sitting next to Donald Trump, exchanging a smile. Former President George W. Bush, former First Lady Laura Bush, shaking the hands. And this, as Jimmy Carter probably would have liked, is somewhat cathartic for a country that the vast majority of people truly hunger for some sort of, connection and way forward to try to erase some of these dividing lines. The Bushes, Barack Obama, Donald and Melania Trump. Here we see former President Bill Clinton, former First Lady Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State, obviously. On the far left in that back row, Dan Quayle shaking the hand of Bill Clinton a moment ago. Al Gore, who was obviously Bill Clinton's vice president. so many mini chapters of history, if you will. Obviously, Hillary Clinton having run against Donald Trump in 2016, losing that election, the Electoral College in a very close election, winning the popular vote. Returning here with her husband, sitting next to George W. Bush, where she has been seated many times before. And wouldn't it be fascinating to be able to hear the conversation right now, Terry Moran, between Barack Obama and Donald Trump?
It sure would. I mean, you're looking at generations of presidential history, but that in particular, Donald Trump there and Barack Obama, two men who have fought as fiercely and as personally, as vituperatively as any people in American history, any presidents in American history. They're chatting away. And it occurs to me that it could be this re-election of Donald Trump, who will pursue an agenda that Barack Obama will no doubt totally oppose. But this re-election settles things in the country a bit. It's almost as if Trump felt, with not winning the popular vote in 2016, that he would, in some ways, not have been legitimate, or was refused legitimacy by many people in the United States. Now, there's no doubt he's the major politician of this era, and maybe there's more to talk about, more to share. And they're just two politicians who are able to get along with people they despise. Not that they do, but they're practiced at it. But it is fascinating.
So it's amazing, right? It's amazing. What do you think they're talking about, the commentary? What could they be talking about? Well, they're having a good chuckle, probably talking about what's going on in California. Probably talking about, can you believe these people fell for this psychological operation we created called Maga? Can you believe that we took conspiracy theorists and we started feeding them conspiracies that we created on our own, revolving around guys named Jeff and other ones, and they take the conspiracy, then they think that all of a sudden they're Sherlock Holmes or Inspector Gadget, and they think they're uncovering things, but we're feeding it to them the whole time. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe that because California is a democratic state, that they're not going to question a directed energy weapon or using HARP to have the winds actually push this flyer and make it bigger and bigger so that we could wipe out Los Angeles and put in a smart city? Can you believe these people? And they're just having a chuckle over it. That's what they're actually saying, is that they can't believe that there are suckers out there that think that they're not in cahoots with one another. They can't believe there's suckers out there that think that these people feel the way that you feel about the opposite political party, because these people don't. These people love each other. They're globalists. They're working together to keep you divided. That's why the commentators are going out of their way to say, well, I can't believe they're sitting together. But I mean, these types of, what was the exact quote? They're able to get along with people they despise, right? Isn't that great? They're able to get along with people they despise because they don't really despise each other. That's why they're able to get along with each other. They actually are in cahoots with each other, and they keep all of us divided to keep their power, to keep their resources, and so they can continue destroying the earth as they see fit. Now, we just saw this on the 11th day of September, where Donald Trump, the night after a debate with Kamala Harris on national television, he was standing side by side with Kamala and Joe Biden, shaking hands, smiling. Bloomberg right next to Trump, right? Schumer right next to Trump. All of them shaking hands, having a laugh. How many times have we seen Schumer and Trump, right? Schumer comes on TV, tells us that Donald Trump's going to destroy democracy, tells us that Donald Trump's the worst thing ever. But, anytime they have downtime together, they're arm in arm, smiling ear to ear. I mean, Donald Trump looked like he was on a date with Barry. They looked like they were at a ball game together. They're at a funeral, by the way. A supposed funeral, of course. I mean, we're really not going to doubt that Jimmy Carter, actually is dead. I mean, we're going to assume with the technology they have, he's either in a new body or, he's in a chamber somewhere frozen. But that doesn't look like Jimmy Carter's been alive for a long period of time. But they love to put this performance on, right? And they do it more and more now where they're actually around each other. And they really just go, we have these people in such a psychosis that we'll go near each other on national TV. We could smile next to each other. They could French kiss each other. I mean, Donald Trump could have shoved his tongue down Barry's throat, or even Big Mike's. And people out there would have come up with an excuse for Donald Trump, saying, well, he was just testing to see, what people out there would think, I mean, I don't know at this point what it would take for these people to wake up. But this should be another thing. And they'll just go, no. It's a funeral. for president. So they all have to go. He sat next to him because it goes in the order, of course, of the people. And when they were president, right, even though Biden's there, you know, it goes in the order. So he had to sit next to so-and-so, and they had to sit next to so-and-so, right? And the Clintons had to be there even though Trump was there because it's a president. You know, it's a rule, right? Even though Big Mike didn't show up. I mean, are you kidding me? How much more do you need to see of these people? I mean, the guy literally has just come out and talked about the Club of Rome's 10 Kingdom plan and how we're going to suddenly take over Canada out of nowhere. We're going to suddenly take over Greenland. This is a legitimate blueprint that the New World Order has created. And these people are making excuses for it. Right? People ask me often, they're like, why do they, like, you know, why won't they wake up? You know, I mean, once you see it, you see it. And then you wake up. Well, when it comes to the politics, these people don't want to wake up, not only because they love it. It's like being on a sports team. It's like telling a sports fan to quit rooting for their favorite team because they feel like they're a part of the team. You ever notice how sports fans after games are like, we lost? And you're just like, what? I didn't know you were on the Dallas Cowboys. I wasn't aware you were a New York Yankee. We lost. Well, you know, I root for the team, so I'm on the team, right? Well, that's how they view politics. And then, of course, it's a lot easier for these people to put their faith and their hope in someone else to do the work that needs to be done, right? We can all look around us and say the world's a mess. And it's a mess because of Barry and Donald and all of them. They've created the mess. So we would all have to put in the work to stop this from going forward, which means some of us would have to, maybe all of us would have to lose our lives, risk our lives to stop this from moving forward. And you know what? In the mindset of most of these people who think they're awake, it's a lot easier to just hope and listen to somebody who says the right things, to think that they're going to go and do this so that they can continue to play Call of Duty at home or go to the movies or text 24/7 or go on dating apps, right? Real revolutions are being prevented because people would rather buy in to the psychosis than actually do something about stopping it. And they're not hiding the fact that they're in cahoots with each other. The news isn't hiding the fact. The news is, these guys, the stuff that they said, I mean, you would have thought you were watching, you know, what is it, The Onion, right? Some satire, Saturday Night Live. The way they're talking, man, you know, can you believe that they're sitting together? What could they be talking about? Well, you know, they're able to get along with people they despise. Oh, is that right? Is that a particular trait of a president? You're able to get along with people that you despise? Because, I mean, we've seen Donald Trump doesn't really get along with these people when he's putting on the act, right? He puts on the act. He's like, I'm not getting along with them. I don't want to get along. I don't want to get along with Greenland. I don't want to get along with Canada if they refuse us in the Panama Canal and us taking over. I don't want to. Oh, okay. Right. These are people who are supposed to be the sworn enemy of Donald Trump. The people who were trying to throw him in prison, we were told, right? Clintons, he should be in jail. He shouldn't be allowed near the White House. You'd think they'd say, well, we're not going to go. Because, again, they expect you not to show up somewhere if your neighbor's there and your neighbor's a MAGA supporter or a Biden supporter and you're not. If you're the opposite, they don't expect you to have dinner together or shake hands or look at each other. That's how they've made the world now. That people are so divided they can't even conversate, but they can. The ones who created all the division, right? They could sit together. They could have those crap-eating grins in their faces because they're the ones who are conspiring. They're the ones who are plotting, and they're plotting against all of us. White, black, straight, gay, conservative, liberal, you name it. Blue hair, brown hair, blue eyes, green eyes. You could name it. They're conspiring. If you ain't in the club, they don't like you. You could vote for them. You could vote MAGA, you're voting for the same thing. You could vote Democrat, you're voting for the same thing. That's one of the things these people can't get through. They're like, why would they burn California with a directed energy weapon if their own people are there? You are cattle to them. We are ants to them. They couldn't care less about any of us, any of our families, any of your children, any of your pets, any of your belongings. They couldn't care less. As long as you stay divided, they can continue to rule over us. So this is just another event. We had the 11th day of September where they got together and smiled. Now it's a funeral, so it's okay, you know, for them to be side by side, right? I mean, why don't we go back through history and look at all the stuff that Obama and Trump said to one another? That they, he's not even an American. He's cracked jokes about, doesn't he crack Big Mike jokes or retweeted jokes about Barack's wife? Well, of course he has. So if that was you, would you be sitting next to him? If the world was as bad as it is, I mean, these are the people who have literally been saying that anyone who's a MAGA Republican is a terrorist, right? So they've literally been calling Donald Trump Hitler, a terrorist, all these things, all of them. But they're willing to sit next to him and joke with him, right? So if you saw a picture of Obama sitting next to Hitler, what would you think if you were a Democrat? Wouldn't you be a little angry? Wouldn't you be like, wait a minute, what? Yeah. And for conservative MAGA out there, well, Obama is the epitome of Hitler, right? Or Biden. And you see them laughing it up every single time they have a chance to be with one another. It's incredible how deep the psychosis goes. If you're in the left right, you are under their spell. Realize it, get over it. We've all fallen for their deceptions one way or another in our lives. Chalk it up as a loss. Just go, nobody's judging you for falling for it. It's easy to fall for it. It's a layered conspiracy. It's a layered level of mind control. There's layers to this where you think you're awake, right? But you're actually still in the psyop with these conspiracies they feed you, right? I'm awake. I know about the deep state, but I believe in Jeffrey because the government fed me this whole story. I would have never have known he existed if they didn't tell me in the first place, right? You got to come through the layers of it all. There's layers to it. Don't be embarrassed. Don't lose hope in humanity. If Donald Trump is one of them, that you have no hope anymore, because there is still hope. And the only hope anyone should have is through Jesus Christ. But if you're talking about hope in humanity, there's still hope in numbers for people who are awake. But if you stay stuck in the left, right, there's no hope for humanity. It's just going to continue to go on like this. Divide us, divide us, divide us. Set communities on fire, cities on fire. Hit them with hurricanes, hit them with tornadoes, hit them with this, hit them with that. Freeze their bank accounts, turn up their power grids, lock them down with outbreaks. That's how it's going to continue to go. As long as you're stuck in the left-right paradigm. Get past these people. Realize they're the ones responsible for the division. They're the ones responsible for the chaos as well. And then start thinking to yourself, you know what? Is it better off being stuck in the psychosis? No, it's not. Because you're just getting led exactly where they had planned to lead you all along. And Trump is leading you off a cliff. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.